Alright guys, it's Dokkan time. And we're going to do how to build for this Phy Rose. Now, he's been a contradicting thing over on Twitter and other communities. Personally, I like the unit. What you see right now onto the corner right here, that is my personal recommendation. Personal doesn't mean that you have to follow it. We're going to go through his kit as quickly as possible because I'm exhausted and I have other videos to make. Baby Ben is keeping me awake. So personally, I believe that Rose should be 100% just has crit thrown into him. And then the second one that you decide to focus on is entirely up to you as a player. Launch an additional attack per Rainbow Key Sphere. So the thing here is I didn't think about this at first. I really didn't think about it. It just didn't cross my mind. But when you really look at things, the launch attack per Rainbow Key Sphere, combined with plus an additional attack and defense, plus 30% with the same turn in each attack formed, basically is the exact same thing as a super attack. You're getting the raised attack and defense at 30% per normal. So instead of going through an entire freaking normal attack, you're getting the same buff as a super attack per normal. It's really wild when you think about it. I don't know why they decided to design him like that, but basically, the way his kit rolls, you're going to want to get at least 3 Rainbow Key Spheres to activate his entire passive. Once you do that, you can pretty much activate his entire passive, and you'll be freaking probably pretty golden. Because here's the thing. There's even right here, launch an additional attack that has a high chance to become a super attack. That's just part of his passive. That's just another extra attack that comes through. Now, if it becomes a super attack and does more damage, fantastic, that's awesome. But if it doesn't and it's just a normal, you're still getting the buff of an attack and defense plus 30% as if it was a super attack. So you're still getting that defensive buff at all times, which is really great. He does get damage reduction of 6%. Per super boss category ally on the team, and then he just gets a flat out another damage reduction of 30% before attacking. He guards all attacks for 1 turn. Not really sure what the point of that is. That's just weird to me. But anyways, his leader skill is okay. It's basically just another Zamasu team, Goku Black team. You could throw in Universe 6. Not Universe 6, but Universal Survival Saga and obviously other super bosses, but this is a global exclusive unit. There is not a very big amount of super bosses in the game as of current. I mean, at least not in my personal opinion. There's just not much there. I mean, you're not putting Jiren on the team. You're not putting the LR Broly trio currently on the team, not until 9th anniversary hits for global. You're not putting Kale and Khalifa and then freaking Berserk Kale on the team because they're super types and it'll actually get you hurt for using either of the LR Merge Zamasu or the Phy Rose's domains. Use either one of those domains, you're just hurting yourself. So it's kind of a Broly thing too. Once AGL Broly comes to global with 9th anniversary, this team will get a little bit more stonks. But as of right now, like the Super Boss's team, and he leads Corroded Body and Mind. I mean, that's just not good enough. Corroded Body and Mind? I mean, it's nice that you have the option to throw Janemba onto the team. It's nice that you have the option to throw the Super Saiyan 3 Rose onto the team. But for doing that, you actually lose damage reduction for the physical Rose, which, you know, 6%, that's here or there. That's hearsay. So it's up to you if you want to approach that. In my personal opinion, Corroded Body and Mind is a pretty garbage category. There's very few and far in between kind of things that you can throw onto here. My only thought process when I look at this is literally Dragon Ball Heroes. That's pretty much it. Even then, Dragon Ball Heroes, there's not much of Dragon Ball Heroes on here. I mean, it's just the Mask King and then Super Saiyan 3 Rose. That's pretty much it. I mean, that's it. And then Janemba and Metal Cooler, but you're not throwing any of them onto the team except for maybe Rose. So, I mean, it's a really terrible leader choices. The other thing to keep in mind is his domain is it raises Super Boss's category allies keep by 2, which is great. The problem here is that his transformation only lasts for 4 turns. It's 4 turns from when he pops out, so if you activate it on turn 4, like you can if you have all Super Boss's category allies attacking in the same turn at once, then that will end on turn, what, 8? It'll end on turn 8. So it will take a while. It will take a while, I believe. So, but it counts the turn of, so it'll pop up on turn 4, it'll pop up on turn 5, it'll still be active on turn 5, you'll see him again on turn 6, but the irony here is that on turn 7, that's the last turn that you'll actually have the domain up, and Rose won't even be on rotation at that point. So, very unfortunate. You only get it for basically 3 turns with physical Rose. It's only 2 appearances. Once you go into his transformed, cloned Super Saiyan Rose, like, army, he gets a lot better on paper, like, damage-wise. His damage goes really high up. Like, he gets good damage. I used a rainbowed Link level 10 friend unit. That dude hit frickin' 22 million. And that's not a joke. He hit 22 million. I haven't seen 22 mil on a lot of units, in all honesty. It's very far and in between where you see a 22 mil attack stat. It's pretty wild. It's pretty wild. So he can definitely hit a very high number. His passive doesn't really change. The only thing about his passive that really changes is the way he has damage reduction and the fact that he changes Rainbow Key Spheres. Otherwise, the rest of his changes when he transforms is very moot. Like, he gets an extra 22% attack and defense on his passive, and then he gets another 3% per attack performance. He gets 33 instead of 30. It's very, very, very tiny differences. They do add up a little bit, you know, at the end result, but it's very little differences there, here and there. Actually, the biggest change about when he transforms is that when he launches an additional attack, he has a chance of that becoming a super attack. This dude can launch 8 supers. He can launch 8 super attacks, which is just wild to me. That's an insane... 8 or 9, actually. Wait a minute. Yeah, no, he can launch like 8 or 9 super attacks, which is pretty wild. I don't even know how to... what's an 8-sided shape? An octagon? He can octa. He can octa. If someone can actually pop up a video saying that their physical Rose octa super attacked, that would be hilarious. But he's got a very high ceiling, and the biggest thing that I have to like give on suggestions is that you need to get Rainbow Key Spheres. You have to get Rainbow Key Spheres. Get as many Rainbow Key Spheres as possible. If you get anything under 3, you're just not going to see it. You're not going to see how good he can be. But he has a very low point, and he has a very high peak. He can either look terrible, or he can look amazing. That's just how it is. That's just how he is. That's how he's built. He's not the best unit in the game. I don't know if he'll be hitting any top 10 tier lists anytime soon. He certainly isn't on mine right now. At least not right now. There needs to be a grace period for putting on tier lists, but he's not as bad as everyone thinks. Over the last 24, 48 hours, he's gotten a lot of crap, and I don't think that it was justified that he got so much crap. He's a very cool, fun unit. If you love Goku Black / Super Saiyan Rose, if you love the character in general, you're gonna have fun with this unit. You're gonna have fun with this unit. Like I said, he has a very low, but he has a very high peak. He can look very good. He can be very fun if you just take a second to look at it. But I'm not really changing how you use the hidden potential. I mean, in my personal opinion, if you don't give him crit, you're just not maximizing his damage at all. He can do a lot of damage. You don't have to put additional into him. You can, obviously. He can octa. So, I mean, it's entirely up to you if you want to throw in dodge instead. If that's your, focus. If that's what you love, that's your agenda, go for it. If dodge is your agenda, go for it. I understand 100%. I just feel it's a missed opportunity to not throw crit into him to maximize the absurd amount of damage this guy can do. But yeah, I completely understand if people want to go for like a the defensive build, you know, the classic dodge and then additional. That's up to you. He starts with 5 additional, so keep that in mind. But yeah. I'm not going to really go over too much of his kit. I mean, he guards on the first turn. When he transforms, he has attacks effective against all types. He will revert back to his normal state after the 4 turns have elapsed from the domain. Or at least I assume he will. I haven't seen it. Every time I transform with him, I either die or the enemy dies. It's one of the two. It's one of the two. But anyways, guys, let me know how you're going to decide to go ahead and build Rose. I build him with crit and additional. If someone else decides to throw in dodge in, I completely get you. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Have a good day and a good night.